This meeting is being recorded.
Of any action taken in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.1. To report student discipline, approval of expulsion. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Nguyen.
Second.
Second by Mr. Giles. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. We'll have, I think we'll be District Fulton and Allsbury, Nancy, Jordan. The name.
Stand. Ready. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chair Diego, talk about the student review. Oh, that's sorry.
Thank you, Jordan. Information items, enrollment report.
So our total UTK enrollment for 8th grade as of yesterday, 13,935 students. Early learning, 471 students for a total of 14,406. This is a loss of 8 from the last board meeting and a loss of 214 from the same relative month last year. Of that population, 1,139 identify as homeless, 362 identify as foster, and 705 students have one or both parents serving in the armed forces.
Thank you, Dr. Freeze. Curriculum highlights, Fulton and Allsbury Academy, curriculum highlights, clubs and activities by Principal Leo. Gracias.
Well, good evening, board members, executive cabinet, and parents. My name is Marcelo Palacios, and I'm the very proud principal of Fulton Allsbury Academy of Arts and Grade. Tonight, you'll be hearing about our school and the great things we do. Who better to communicate that than our very own NIHOC students themselves? So I'm going to go ahead and bring up Dartry Artiat.
Hi, my name is Dr. Diego. So we do many hands-on activities such as frog and brain dissections. We went to the California Science Center this year, and this has helped us with our cognitive thinking skills, problem solving, and more. Our art curriculum has helped us with our hand and our creativity. Our history presentations are very intricate, and they help us provide public speaking confidence. Our ELA curriculum is very intricate as well, but it provides talking help, and they're able to advance. Overall, 6th grade is very well for a kickstart at Fulton Allsbury for the rest of the year. I'm going to give it to Yvette Norris for our next topic.
Good evening, my name is Yvette Norris, and I'm a 7th grader at Fulton Allsbury. 7th grade in Fulton Allsbury is filled with many fun and hands-on activities. One of these activities is our medieval project, where basically we get to pick either to make a castle, we get to a feast, make medieval clothing plans, and medieval weapons. And once you are done with your art, you get to make a writing assessment explaining what your art is and the history behind it. And this allows us to work on our writing skills and also bring out creative characteristics. And also we have an engineering app that we use called Algebra. And it allows us to make 3D objects such as toy cubes, pegboard, and brackets to make a cube. And we also use this to make a cabinet for our most recent field trip at Lancaster campers. And the cabinet was basically that was our thank you gift for Lancaster campers, and it was showing them how we use the app, and then also comparing how they use the app to make their campers on their site. And also there's many other activities we do, such as plate tectonic movements and writing assessments on that. And 7th grade is a well-preparing grade for the next grade, which is 8th grade. And now I'm giving it to Jazzy Ocha for 8th grade.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jazzy Ocha, and I'm talking about 8th grade. So our 8th grade year at Bolton has many fun activities and projects like our mock trials and we get to choreograph our own dances. We also get plenty of fun hands-on projects like our roller coasters and our gravity mazes. All of these projects test our knowledge on different subjects that we learned throughout the year. For example, our gravity mazes and our roller coasters require the basic physics concepts that we learned here, while our dances show us different art styles and our mock trials get to show us different processes after a murder case. All of these projects build our communication skills and they build our relationships with our classmates. We not only build these great connections with our classmates, but we also get to build those relationships with our staff members, and that makes our time at Bolton that much worth it. And now I get to pass the mic to Madison and Kenzie to talk about AIDS. The book is a new page starting this year, and we get to do things with pictures and art, which is not doing that. Here we've got to learn to make a video to share with the students at our school. Tell them about upcoming events and things that ASD is doing. We've gotten to update them about all the different clubs that we have through each video, and we get to picture everything that our classes have.
My name is Madison, and I've been in ASB for 2 years, and I'm one of the chairmen, so one of the leaders of the group. ASB is the Associated Student Body, which is a club of students that get to represent our community and our school and make it a better place all around and make it more fun for everybody. ASB has really changed my life. It's given me a lot of leadership skills. It's led me to connect with a lot of different people that I thought I would never connect with. And it's really fun because we get to do different things for our school. For example, we have our color wars in one of the pictures up here, which is where teachers and students get to interact with each other and have a lot of fun and just do things together and experience things out of just teaching. We got to do different things like our canned food drive with the car club, and we got to actually get food for people who need it and give them that food, which the car club brought to the center. We got to have a Veterans Day pep rally along with our other robotics and science Olympiad pep rallies. This Veterans Day pep rally was to support all the veteran families at our school. They got to come, receive an award, and just be recognized for everything that they do for us. We do different things like lunchtime activities, spirit days, dances. We even just did a sock and blanket drive for the wildfire victims down in LA. We wanted to recognize everything, like we wanted to give back to them and give them things that we don't necessarily need. And yeah, we got a school spirit award at our ASB conference that we just went to for showing the most school spirit and being just like a good school in general. I'm passing it on to Zoe for book readers.
Hi, my name is Zoe Navru. I am one of the many members of Bookbinders, which is a lunchtime club that happens almost every Thursday. In Bookbinders, we do many art things. It's not a book club, it's specifically made for people who are artistic, poetic, and anything else. Currently, we are working on something for Makerspace where we are decorating the bulletin board with all kinds of different things, gears, paper maches, all kinds of stuff. And the photos you see up here are from our door decorating competition during the winter, where we went against staff and other clubs and we won. I'm also representing the environmental club as one of the many publicists in there. So I get to control over most of the social media. In the environmental club, we're currently working on the solar oven competition, where we are going to build our own solar ovens using recyclable materials. And we're going to cook 3 meals inside of said solar ovens. Recently, we finished our Makers Fair competition where our team won 2nd place, I believe, and got $100, where we're going to currently spend on a celebration and possibly a Disney trip. The Makers Fair is where we take recycled materials and build cities and reusable sources that can help our environment. With Makers Fair, we had to build a recycled city 2 miles away from the ocean in the desert. And so that was a fun and quick competition where everyone got to participate.
Madison White, presenting for our robotics club as well. This is an amazing club that I have never been a part of before, but I've been in robotics for 3 years and I've been a captain of one of our 3 teams for 2 years now. This robotics is an amazing club. It's so interactive and you get to learn new things, do different things with hands-on projects, and it's really just general amazing and wonderful. We compete in the VEX V5 robotics competition for middle school. We recently just went to a competition, our state competition last Sunday. Unfortunately, we did not make it to the world competition. We were 4 points away, my team specifically, but we were all very close. Another one of our teams, team 93535N, was very close. They were winning one match away from going to Worlds as well. We were very close, and we've worked so hard this year, and we're just very proud of our robots, which you can see in some of the pictures on the screen. You can also see 3 awards. The first award on the far left is the Build Award. This award is an award that shows what you're building. It says that your building is amazing and in general just wonderful. That you can have some teamwork, you all participate, you know what you're building, you do the game design really well, you know the game strategies, everything. The one in the middle is for our Robotic Skills Award. That award is getting 2nd place out of the whole tournament. 40 teams, you got 2nd place in the whole skills. Skills is something you get 1 minute and 45 seconds to run by yourself, and you have to score as many points as you can. Getting 2nd place is very good since there are 40 teams you're competing against. The next one on the third award there is the Think Award. This award is given to a team who can demonstrate their programming. Now, programming is something very specific that you have to learn. It's basically kind of self-taught. We do have our teachers who are amazing, who help us. But this award is really significant because it's an award that's not really given out at the competitions very much. So to win this award is very amazing. This award demonstrates you know your program, you know how to write it, and you know how to explain it very well to the judges that you have to talk to. Recently, our first competition was the Winter Wasco competition, where two of our teams, Team A and Team N, got invited to go to the US Create Open competition in Iowa. This is our first time ever going to this competition. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity because you have to get invited to go there. It's an invitation only competition where only a couple teams get to go. The cool thing about this is it's a national competition, so people from all over the world get to go. And you get to meet new people and you get to alliance with people from, who knows, like you could get people from China, people from Florida, anywhere you can imagine. And you have to figure out how to talk and communicate with them in the best way to win the whole competition. This is really, like I said, an amazing club. It's given me a lot of leadership skills as ASB has, and a lot of responsibility as well, trying to manage the team while still being respectful to all the members. This is a club that's really changed my life, and I'm glad that I got to experience this. I'm going to be handing it off to Jazzy to talk about science.
Here to talk about Science Olympiad. I'm one of our team's 3 captains for 3 years now. Very sure being captain. But Science Olympiad is a club that consists of 23 very vigorous events. 8 of these events are build events like our Mission Possibles or Scramblers. And then the rest of them are all science-based events. Our teams at our schools are made of very talented, very hardworking, very gifted students. This team for us becomes a family, and we're all extremely supportive of each other. Our club is very difficult because a lot of the academic material that we need to study is college level, and working on learning all of these new topics while also having to do our schoolwork is a bit of a struggle. I do Crime Busters, and I do Crime Busters, Potions and Poisons, and Scrambler. All of these require advanced college chemistry that I'm very grateful to have my teachers and coaches helping me with, because I know that it's really hard to have to learn these new topics and still stay on top of the grades. But despite the challenges that our team faces with these, our team was able to get 23 total medals at our regional competitions. 6 of these medals were first place medals, and they helped our team score 3rd overall. Now our team is preparing for our state competition in Caltech on April 12th. Our team is working very hard right now, and we're very proud to be able to compete against some of the top schools in Southern California and in the country as well.
Appreciate your ongoing support, Executive Cabinet. We look forward to greater things for 2025, 2026. So thank you very much.
You guys presenting to us. I was wanted to hear about that one so bad. So, appreciate you guys. You guys want to present that? Watching guys, because normally you guys get a 10, but apparently you guys get the spike bag instead. So. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I got the answer. Oh. Last but not least, so we perfect. Good enough. There we go. Let me ask, was the trip to Iowa good? Sunday.
Iowa's not California. Please bring warm clothes.
Warm 38 degrees.
That's t-shirt weather. Okay, guys.
Yes, thank you. Implementation request proposal report. Facilities implementation.
I can't even say it. That's the plan.
Yes. Semi-annual report, Emilio Flores.
Good evening. My name is Emilio Flores, CEO of Caldwell Forest Winners. Thank you again for having us. Just a couple of notes. First off, I did not dissect a frog until 9th grade, so 6th grade is kind of impressive. Secondly, I went to college with one of the stepsons of Vanna White. So I got to see her at graduation. You did a great job. This evening, I'm here to present an update to the facility implementation plan. Back in 2013, the board had commissioned a facility master plan, for which was the basis for us to move forward. Examining our overall facility needs in the district, but secondarily as a basis for Measure LS, which was approved by voters in 2024. The board adopted that plan in January 2024. And as an ongoing part of our services, what we want to do is be able to provide the board and community updates on a periodic basis on what is the progress of implementing that overall plan. So our plan is to come back to you every 6 months with an update. Obviously, the board has been moving forward with projects that the district has brought forward to them for approvals. We've seen contracts for architects and for builders, things of that nature, but want to make sure that we are providing an ongoing report to the board about those activities, where we're at, and inform the board and the public of any changes to that program over time as things evolve. So even before Measure LS was passed, the district had started embarking on some of these facilities improvements, and we had utilized existing capital balances to do that. Primarily, that was the modernization project slated over at Monte Vista, Nancy Corey, and New Vista. And those are to bring 21st century learning environment upgrades to those schools. In addition to that, the district was awarded with a grant program from the California Preschool Transitional Kindergarten Kindergarten Facilities Grant Program, about $5.6 million over there, which is being implemented at Sunnydale. So those projects were separate and started from where we're at. Where we're at today is we have started construction over at Sunnydale with the new PSTKK classrooms. In addition to that, what's been added on to that project has been the modernization of the 2 existing kindergarten classrooms as well. So that whole kindergarten TK complex, will have new classrooms, but also will be modernizing the existing classrooms as well. And so the construction of the new buildings is underway. The modernization just came out of DSA. And we also embarked recently on the modernization design process for the rest of the campus over at Sunnydale as well. It's anticipated that will be submitted to the Division of State Architect probably sometime in the summer with that particular program. At Monte Vista, we are currently underway in terms of design, modernization portion of that project going into DSA, I believe, on Tuesday. And so we have completed the design process over there and forward with agency approvals. Over at Nancy Corey and New Vista, both of those are modernization projects as well. Those plans have been submitted to DSA, and we anticipate having approvals for those probably in April or May of this year. Once we have approvals from the Division of State Architect, as well as the California Department of Education, that does allow us 2 things. A is to move forward with bidding out the work with our lease back partners and being able to assemble what those construction schedules look like. The other thing it allows us to do is submit our application for matching state grants. And so the critical step for us to do that is achieving that approval from DSA and the approval from CDE. Once we do that, we're able to submit that and get in line for funding. As the district and board may recall, there is quite a backlog at the state. And so it's very important for us to get into that line as quickly as possible so that we're able to garner the funds from the available statewide bond. Throughout this whole process, we're obviously looking centrally at the educational program, the programs that the board has put in place and guided by the superintendent and district leadership. We're happy to report that we continue to look at the implementation of UTK from a facility standpoint, also from the visual performing arts programs as well, making sure that we're providing facilities that support these initiatives at each of the sites as we go through these different campuses and programs and so forth there as well. We do know that modernization will happen in place, which means that we will be doing a phased approach to modernization at each of our campuses, which means that we will have sections of the campus that are under construction while we continue construction. There is plenty of housing on most of these sites. We're utilizing either the portables or other facilities, and we're working with district staff as well as site leadership on making sure we can coordinate all the different moves that we anticipate having through that. And that's an interactive process. What looks great on paper sometimes is not great in practicality, and so we go back and refine those things. And so we come up with initial plans for that, working to finalize those things prior to construction, so that everybody has a good idea what's going to the first phase look like, what classrooms we have access to, what we do not have access to, what does play time look like, things of that nature. So working with them with the district in order to get those developed and moving forward with that as well. The other thing we've been working on as well related to the education program is furniture, fixtures, and equipment. So developing a standard. So as we go through the modernization process, as we go through construction, providing a standard for all of our sites so that we have the same type of furniture at our sites that is appropriate to the instruction that's happening in the classroom and appropriate to the facilities that we're building. So the district has assembled some furniture advisory committees. We've been meeting with those folks at different grade levels, different school sites to determine what the standard will be, say for kindergarten, for 8th grade, and everything in between, so that there is a consistent level of furnishing at each of the school sites moving forward to support the educational program. Sorry, I have a 2-year-old, so I always think it's my 2-year-old. Going back to the state aid program, like I said before, we garnered about the $5.4 million so far from this California preschool program, preschool TKK program. And looking at the overall enrollment data, our eligibility for state grants is based on 2 things. First is the age of facilities, and B is our enrollment. And so those are the 2 things we always look at. Is A, when do we see these particular buildings coming of age for eligibility? So for our existing sites, it's 20 years for portable classrooms, it is 25 years for permanent classrooms. And there's cycles that we go through that. And so part of it is seeing, okay, when are we eligible for those dollars? Because if we make improvements prior to become eligible, reset the clock. And we want to make sure we're optimizing our opportunity to get those dollars in front of and to help augment what is being supported by the voters through Measure LS and the other bond proceeds that are coming through. The other thing is enrollment. That's something we constantly look at for new construction eligibility, making sure that if we have any additional growth in the area, whether that makes us eligible for additional dollars from the state in order to accommodate that. And the other one is site specific. So for modernization, we want to make sure that we have adequate number of students in order to garner that modernization process as we go forward as well. As I mentioned previously, the application process has not changed. It is based on a date received process, which means that when you submit the application, they stamp it, receive it on this day, and they process and review those applications on that basis. Prior to the passage of Prop 2, which we'll talk about momentarily, we were looking at wait times of maybe 2 to 3 years before we'd see the reimbursements back from the state. We hope that with the new influx of dollars from Prop 2, that will be a little quicker. But in the meantime, what the district has enabled us to do is utilize the local funds that we have on hand to upfront the cost of those and submit for reimbursement, which they can be used for future projects down the line. Prop 2 was a $10 billion general obligation bond that the state passed approximately about 8.5 billion of that is for K-12 education. A small chunk of that goes to charter schools, but there's approximately $7 billion for new construction and modernization. Right now, everyone's kind of getting in line trying to get those particular items out there as well. One of the things we looked at is that there is a new grant category within all this for modernization. So we have the traditional modernization program, which is 25 years for permanent classrooms. There is a special supplemental grant if the building is 50 years or older. And believe it or not, they've now introduced, if you have a building that's over 75 years or older. Now, the 75-year-old and older building grant has a few strings attached to it. First off, they do not want you to modernize the 75-year building. They want you to replace it. So some of our school sites, believe it or not, within the next 5 years, will be crossing over that 75-year threshold. And so one of the things that was not originally contemplated in the plan was replacing those facilities with new construction. And so that's one of the things that over the coming months, we're going to examine what is that cost effectiveness in terms of replacing some of these. So while we did not contemplate reconstructing any of the school sites within our plan, given this additional dollars from the state, that's something that we'll probably bring back to district leadership for evaluation. And ultimately, it's something that we recommend bring back to the board for consideration as well. But there's about 4 or 5 schools that will reach that threshold in the next 5 years. And that's something we're continuing to look at. It only applies to permanent classrooms. I know some feels like we have 75-year-old portables on some of our sites, but those would not be eligible for this as we go forward. Overall, in terms of our total sources, I'll go over here real quick. I'll read off the narrative. The overall sources identified in the plan back in 2024 have remained virtually unchanged. There's about an increase of $3 million in additional sources. That's attributed to balances in the developer fees as well as some additional eligibility for state aid. We have not integrated that 75-year that's outside of this. So like I said, as we evaluate that and as we make recommendations about utilizing those funds, we bring those sources into this particular budget. But the primary source of funding remains Measure LS, $122.1 billion bond approved by voters in November. I'm happy to report that we're currently in the process of issuing that first series of bonds. I'm also very happy to report that we did recently get our bond rating back for the district and for those bonds. And in fact, the rating agency had upgraded the district's bond credit rating from an A+ to a AA-. And so that one notch of improvement will lower the overall cost of borrowing the district encounters. It may also afford ourselves some other opportunities as well regarding our outstanding debt. So because the credit rating has been improved, there may even be opportunities in the future for us to look at some additional refinancings to take advantage of that lower interest rate. The other thing of note there as well, I think it's incredibly important to give credit to your district leadership for your financial wherewithal. Today, the other large rating agency outfit, Moody's, actually downgraded the entire educational sector for California. So here you are getting an upgrade. Folks are seeing a dire economic outlook for many school districts as it relates to declining enrollment, exacerbated by federal policies, as well as an overall change in the overall economic environment for schools and state governments. So even in that type of environment, the work that your superintendent, CPO, everybody in the district has done over the past few years resulted in actually getting an upgrade, whereas many of the other folks out there are facing different circumstances. So just wanted to note that, highlight that. It's not in this presentation because it happened last week, but it is something of note, and I think we should all take a bow at some point and appreciate that as we move forward. In terms of the uses, we haven't made any major adjustments to that. We are currently in the process of finalizing designs, and so we will see things in phase 1 in terms of uses. Those costs will change over time as we actually adopt the overall contracts for construction. With that said, we're not seeing an immediate impact on tariffs at the moment. There's a lot of stockpile already in the United States that's already been imported and so forth. However, it is important to note that tariffs on lumber, on steel, on metal, on other goods may have an impact on our overall construction budgets, and it may also have an impact on our construction schedules. And so that's something that we're constantly looking at, we're monitoring. As part of this program, we do have a program reserve for approximately $33 million throughout the life of the program. We try to maintain at least a 15% reserve to deal with two things: cost inflation and changes to program. So, for example, change of program would have been when the state said you're going to do UTK, right? We have some money set aside for those types of programmatic changes where we can adjust and help mitigate the cost of those additional unfunded mandates. But in addition to that, is also looking at cost increases. Now, the tariffs that are currently in place are 25% at the moment. Depending if you want to into a weekend, some places they jump up to 50. I will tell you right now that while we have a program reserve and while we currently have a high level of confidence that we're able to design and construct the projects that are currently budgeted in phase one, we don't know the impact of those tariffs yet. That's something that we're going to experience as we go through that contracting process. And we have a high level of confidence that those projects will be done. If those are long-term tariffs, if those costs do trickle down into our construction projects, that's something that we're going to look at how that impacts our overall scheduling and sequencing our projects going forward. So as of right now, we don't see an impact, but we are cognizant of the fact that there may be impact going down further as we work through those things. I mean, schools are built out of lumber, it's built out of steel, they're built out of a lot of those essential pieces. So that's something we're doing. The other thing we're looking at as well is labor force. One of the things that people often forget about in this region is that with the fires in the Palisades, with the fires over in Altadena, there's a strong demand right now for trades. So, carpenters, plumbers, HVAC folks, and things of that nature, but also specialists. So, for instance, like hazardous waste. So, anytime we do a construction project, we are required by the state to make sure that we have folks on monitoring. If there's any type of hazardous materials, typically that's not present, but we're required to monitor those things. Those professionals, believe it or not, they know that there's hazardous things happening in Altadena with the fires and Palisades. So there are some professionals that we're seeing being less available. We're continuing to expand our universe of consultants to deal with that. But so far we haven't had any major effects from that. But you may have questions about what the economy is, what the effects of these tariffs are, and so forth on school projects. And so hopefully that gives you a little bit of background information in terms of where we're at and what we're seeing in the marketplace. Over the next 6 months, like I said, we've already started construction over at Sunnydale to get the DSA approvals for those other 3 projects we talked about, and to submit for DSA approval over for the balance of Sunnydale as well as we go forward. I think the other part of it too is to start finalizing those transition plans. So as we transition from design and agency approvals, working with staff, working with the district, working with the sites, start choreographing what do these activities look like on site, so that we try to mitigate as much inconvenience as possible. Construction is messy. Construction does inconvenience people, but we do try to make an active effort of trying to minimize that where we can. We'll be working with the district in order to try to make it go as smoothly as we can as we go forward. So, like I said before, our hope is that come back to you every 6 months, give you an overview, because I know sometimes in its disparate parts, you can't quite see the whole picture, and so it's a nice way for the community and the board to kind of understand what things we've done, things we plan to do going forward as we do that as well. To help aid that, we do this in a 2-step process. So we'll be submitting the full report back to the board for approval at a later meeting. We want to give everybody an overview of what we have and what we've been doing. So then we get the comments back from staff. So we'll incorporate all those, and we'll probably come back with just talking with Dr. Freeze over there, probably the April 15th board meeting with that report for your consideration and adoption. Once again, just to make sure that you guys are informed of what it is we're doing. So with that, happy to answer any questions you may have. Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if, based on the modernization of Joshua, if we learned anything from that process that we're making changes or going to incorporate in the new modernization. That was the first question. And the second one is, some of our schools we're transforming into K-8 schools. And so if there's going to be any changes based on that in the future too.
Absolutely. So the answer your first question, I don't know Joshua intimately, but given the experience of your staff, they've provided us feedback, over pain points or issues, things of that nature. We're trying to incorporate where we can. Once again, that transition planning process, I think, is also critical to that as well. We're just having a conversation regarding technology. We don't want to be modernizing one wing and knock out, the infrastructure for all the internet, right? So things like that. And, one of the things that I know that for a fact that what we talked about early on was we want to make sure that the duration that we are doing these projects is much quicker as well. And so, I think, when we look at those types of things, we're trying to incorporate that where we can. I think Joshua is a standalone project as it relates to the rest of the plan. And so I think we're trying to incorporate those as best we can and then, take what we learn. And, admittedly, each time we do this, we're gonna get better at it, and so we're trying to take our best stab at it the first time, the second time is so important. So we hope to see that improvement as we go forward. But staff has absolutely articulated some of the things that they want to see done a little differently and so forth on that one. I apologize. What was the second question?
Some of our schools we're going to be transitioning to K-8 schools. Yeah.
So the modernization, and so for all of this, what we've been doing is that we have been working with the district to identify what those schools are, and then we're modernizing to the specification that was identified and adopted by the board in this plan. So we are, as we go through the modernization process, we are reconfiguring those school sites to accommodate the desired educational program at those sites. So so we're working with the district, making sure, hey, this one is going to be a K-8. So we're as we go through that modernization process, making sure that the facilities meet those needs.
Emilio, obviously we're very pleased with CFW for what they did prior to this and getting the bond passed. That was very good. And I think you're coming back with some good ideas for Larry. For the board. So thank you.
I appreciate that, and like I said, we were working very closely with district administration, and I think one of the things that the mandate I think the board gave us, and the superintendent, Dr. Reeves, was, we have this money, we want to make sure we use it for the purchasing power of that dollar deteriorates. So I think that's something that is very much driving what we want to do. It's been a collaborative process, and it's been very, very nice to I think have the district leadership really guiding us. This is the path we want to go down, have that clear vision from the board, and making sure that we're doing that. And now that said, it is a multi-phase project. Priorities may change, things may shift, and that's one of the reasons why we think it's important for us to come back every 6 months and say, this is where we're at, this is how we can change. Because if a 75% tariff hits us in June, right, that's going to change, all types of calculations of what we're able to do. And the sooner you know that, the sooner the district knows that, the sooner the community knows that, we can make those adjustments and so forth. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Next, we have our middle school attendance boundaries, 2025, 2026. Cochran, Director of Pupil Safety.
Good evening. Thank you for having me this evening. We have been working, when I say we, Mr. Charles Coleman has partnered with me, as well as Dr. Larry Freese, working with Davison Graphics, currently known as Management Inc. going forward, to take a look at our middle school boundaries. Amargosa Creek and Endeavor are facing huge increases in their enrollment numbers. Additionally, Amargosa Creek has been carrying the largest enrollment numbers throughout the school district for several years now. Additionally, impacting Amargosa Creek and Endeavor are new construction between apartments, townhouses, and homes around their surrounding areas. So we needed to take a really good look and how this is affecting student enrollment. With that, our friends at Davis Demographics created a density map. This map represents all of the students in the Lancaster School District and their residences. Just give you a moment to take that in. You'll also notice that we do have some families outside of our boundaries, attendance waivers, attending several of our schools as well. This is our current established middle school boundaries. And again, this is for Amargosa Creek, Endeavor Middle School, Paiute Middle School, and New Vista Middle School. You might be wondering about Fulton Ellsbury Academy. Again, that is not part of the breakdown here because they are school of choice. So that school is completely attendance waiver based, as well as Linda Verde, which is now DLI TK through 8th grade. So moving into the proposed middle school plan, this boundary will move Amargosa Creek's boundary from 40th Street West back to 35th Street West. And so as this year's 5th graders are promoting to 6th grade, who might have formerly been zoned for Amargosa Creek, they would now be zoned for Endeavor Middle School, well within our walking boundary there. Then to the east, New Vista Middle School's boundary gets a little bit of the students who are currently being transported by buses over to Endeavor Middle School. That's within the 2.5 mile walking boundary for our school district with transportation. And then along Avenue J, we've had several students crossing over J to attend New Vista Middle School. Those incoming 6th graders would now be zoned for Paiute Middle School. And there's a small pocket over here near the district, well, over on the other side of the district office that currently walks over to Amargosa Creek, and another section that are transported over to Endeavor. They are also zoned less than 2.5 miles from Paiute Middle School, making that a walking area as well. So eventually we'll be able to phase out transportation for students within this area over to Endeavor Middle School because it'll just be a walking school going forward. Again, that'll be a phasing plan where we'll affect this year's 6th graders, and of course they'll matriculate into 7th grade and 8th grade after that. And then this one just has the overlay of all of our TK through 8th grade schools and elementary schools. This is our overall map as to what it would be if the board approves a change in middle school boundaries. With all of our schools represented. Any questions? Anybody want me to go back to that?
And do they have any idea there'd be any savings and how much that would be phasing out of that extra transportation? Probably, there's that island of kids we talked about that are currently zoned across the freeway, across Sierra. And they're zoned to go all the way over to Endeavor. That group is now going to be zoned for New Vista. So eventually we will see some savings from that pocket. But the bulk of our transportation cost is special education. These boundary changes will not change any of that ridership. We'll still have, because it's driven by the IEP. So our savings will be minimal.
I'd like to add, if I may, that unfortunately we have 2 buses that transport currently around Parkview Middle, well, around the Parkview Educational Complex. And unfortunately, those buses are running late on the regular daily. We have students not arriving to school until 8:30 a.m. up to 9:15 a.m. almost daily.
So with this change, that basically means that we eliminate that element. So now we're getting it's the school faster.
Correct.
And on time because we're not depending on the buses that arrive. Just to be clear, this is just for our middle school.
This is just for our middle schools, no changes to elementary.
To be clear, this doesn't affect students that are currently enrolled at our middle school.
That is correct. They will still have the opportunity to matriculate up to their 7th grade to their 8th grade. If their families would like to have a discussion about moving the whole family together, we're open to that conversation too, as long as space is available.
Ms. Cochran.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to LCAT, mid-year review by Dr. Coins for the continuous improvement, compliance and accountability.
So good evening, board. It's great to see you all tonight. I'm really happy to be able to give you this real quick report about the local control and accountability plan. This is a report that we're providing that's going to give you the update on where we currently are in terms of the work that we've started, as well as some of the outcomes that we've currently received as of recently through the dashboard. We are going to be having a team that's going to be behind me that's going to be supporting this report. So everybody will be taking a little bit of a turn to be able to explain and talk about some of the pieces that they have, that their departments or the schools that they oversee are looking at in terms of outcomes. So to begin, I wanted to start off by saying that these are going to be the targets that we're going to review tonight. The first one is going to be to provide an overview of the current results available, meaning that we're going to be going over those early dashboard results as well as some of the true pieces that we have in place. You're going to see some changes in some of those metrics as well. The second piece is going to be we're going to be providing an overview of the collaborative work among all the departments. Lancaster School District, we all work together. To every degree, we all have a piece of each other's work on a consistent basis. So we're always in constant communication and how things are working from one place to the next. A bit of a background on this particular report. This report is a mandate from the state of California under Senate Bill 114 that came out in 2023. As the LCAP is developed, we must provide a mid-year report. You're going to notice that on this slide it says that it should be done on or before February 28th. However, in this particular year, we had an outstanding phenomenon in the LA wildfires that put everything back in terms of the work that we're doing throughout the state. So we were provided the opportunity and extension to be able to support this report by March 31st. So jumping into this, we are going to be seeing in the metrics section, you're going to see metrics, and then we're going to see actions and work that we've been working on and things that we've been doing throughout the district by goal in the LCAP. So in this particular space, I want to make sure that there's an understanding that each LCAP metric falls into one of three different buckets. Either we don't know yet because it's too early in the school year and we're just not there, or the information is in progress. We are working very, very hard right now to be able to provide for it, to be able to secure it, to be able to get it. Examples of this will be areas having to do with certain staffing, making sure our numbers place at the end of the school year, seeing where we're at in those places. And the last bucket is what we're going to be reporting on today is going to be that the outcome is known. What that means is that these are dashboard results, CASP results, or California's testing results, our science testing results from the previous school year that we're able to report. So that being said, we're going to jump into this. We're going to start off with goal 1. This is our academic goal for the local control and accountability plan. Every student will demonstrate continuous growth towards mastery of common state standards. That is our goal for this particular one. And in this space, there are various actions that drop into it. You're going to note a couple of things here. I'm not going to go over all of the metrics in this space, just as I feel that there's a lot. We have currently, but I am going to go over a couple of high points. You're going to notice that we are addressing specific questions in terms of as we go through this report. You're going to see when we get into youth truth, you're going to see that we are addressing specific questions as opposed to numbers that are provide a rating piece to these spaces. In this particular report, I also want to highlight the fact that the metric of CAST, that is the California Science Test that is taken. And I want to highlight in this particular area how we are starting to move in a positive direction. The fact that we jumped to 14.67% met or exceeded students who will be considered proficient in science at this time. Again, kind of highlighting the youth truth pieces, we wanted to make this more relevant for the board and for the community as a whole, as opposed to us providing a scale score of 1 to 5. We provided an actual question of percent positive or a positive response. When we talk about a positive response, that basically means that a student or a student group or the students who answer these questions at a specific score within the district answered at between a scale of 1 to 5 on at the either 4 or 5 level, which means that they positively perceive the district in this particular space. So for this particular for this slide, what I wanted to highlight is the idea that with our staff, for the first time, we are starting to see really significantly positive movement in the fact that my school runs smoothly. So we're starting to see a lot of, this is, to be honest, this is due to the hard work that we've got coming from all of our school level leaders, the school teachers, our teachers, our classified staff, and that they see that there's a positive movement in this particular space. In this particular slide, I wanted to highlight some of the other piece having to do with our dashboard local indicators. These are required metrics that we have to provide on a consistent basis every single year to be able to make sure that we are in a position where we are textbooks, toilet paper, and tissue for our students. What we like to call it. It's the basic stuff, the basic piece. We, in this particular space, have been sufficient with all of our textbooks. And I want to make sure that when you see those local indicators, that those are required pieces that you can jump into. So that being said, we're going to jump into our first set of goals and actions and what we've been doing so far, thus far in the school year. And I'm going to introduce Ms. Krista Thompson.
Good evening. All right, so we managed to get everything for CIA into one slide. Actually, not everything, these are just a couple highlights. I want to talk about our big focus on structured literacy and the science of reading, especially in our early grades, K2, the foundational reading. We are focusing on curriculum, making sure we have the appropriate curriculum to support structured literacy and those foundational reading areas. So to that end, we have fully implemented Heggerty, SIPs, Ready Reading, Ready Writing, Magnetic. Currently, we are in the middle of a 6-8 pilot, 6th through 8th grade pilot. We got invited to the public viewing this evening, which is also happening tomorrow if you need to stop by. So we'll be adopting the 6th, 8th ELA curriculum this year. I'll be coming back to you next month for that. And then to that end, we're also assessing that work and the curriculum using DIBBLES, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. SIPs and iReading data show an increase in our foundational reading skills. We're really excited about this data. We're starting to see some significant movement in our data for early reading. So that sets up the foundation for everything else. So we're very excited about that. This year we're in the final year, the second and final year before we adopt a new math curriculum. As you probably know, the math framework was adopted last year. Right now they are doing approvals at the state level. Next year we will be piloting a new math program and for implementation in 26-27. So more to come on that. We also have a big push for teacher clarity, standards-based instruction, grading, and reporting, as you're aware. So all of our elementary schools beginning next year will be doing standards-based grading. And we are still pushing teacher clarity, that strong sense of learning intention, success criteria, assessment, and feedback, ensuring that our lessons are designed based on standards. Students are assessed based on standards, and we're meeting the rigor of the standards. And then there's I believe it's the instructional professional development and coaching. Okay, yes, excellent. So we're supporting all of this with our professional development and instructional coaching. So we have a lot of PD over the course of our 2 professional development days, our Pink Tuesdays, through LLI, professional development offered after school for extra pay. And then of course our instructional coaches provide an immense service in supporting that job embedded support for teachers and administrators. Okay, so the next slide. Yes, no. Yes, okay. I'm going to take off my CIA hat. I'm going to put on the AIM hat because I'm standing in for Miss Cindy Queen. I'm going to share with you a little bit about what's happening with our Department of Assessment, Integrated Technology, and Multilingual Learners. Her title is a lot longer than mine. So they are working in AIM on consistent training. There's a lot of training going on with our MLs and teachers of MLs. So they are doing some piloting of a potential new ELD curriculum using Summit K-12 and Language Power. That is in process right now. There's going to be 2 different series for teachers for professional development, one for integrated, one for designated teachers. There's integrated technology. There's an integrated technology coach that is tied to multilingual learners to support that program. We also have elevations to help track our MLs and support with curriculum supports as well. And so there's trainings through Elevation that's kind of asynchronous on the platform. And then there's also strategies within Elevations, which is a capital S on that, meaning there's some specific strategies in that program aligned to ML instruction. And then there's obviously consistent ongoing training for our bilingual parents as well. So to support our newcomers as well, those are the folks that are less than 1 year in the country. We are supporting them with using Rosetta Stone and iPads for newcomers that with the translation. So as you know, we have more than one language in our district. The translation has translation into multiple languages, not just Spanish. I believe that's it. Oh, and the sorry, last one. Integrated technology coaches are consistently at sites, supporting at sites just like our other coaches as well. So that's it for now. I'll be back though.
Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm going to just go over briefly how we created or integrated the early learning program into the LCAP. The goal of the LCAP, or goal one, is to increase academic growth for Common Core state standards. And what we do in early learning is build foundational skills that will then support children to be self-regulated and ready to learn and build their critical thinking and collaboration skills. So one of the ways the state asked us to do that was to re-envision what a kindergarten, the first year of kindergarten, that TK space looked like, in partnering the early learning and care system with the TK-12 system. And we sit in this place in the middle between those two systems on this bridge called the UPK bridge. And we are integrating those things in ways that are asking teachers to do things differently with a different pedagogical approach, meaning they're doing play-based learning. The state made this great graphic that it talks about what playful learning looks like. And those are ways that children are learning in learning centers. And we have integrated this across our preschool and our TK spaces. We have 862 part-day preschool program spots in our district, which we are one of very few districts in the state of California that has done this in such a way where we are leveraging funding to support children. So in the 862 spots that we have, 504 of those children are dually enrolled in the UTK classroom. 390 are in the preschool classroom, and that includes our full and part-day preschool, for a total of 894 children, which you can see that means we, for the first time in the history of Lancaster School District, have over-enrolled our preschool program. At the end of the year, we have an option to collect funding for that over-enrollment, but we're serving way more children in the program than we have a contract for. Inside of that space, we have 120 fully included special education students in our UTK and PK classrooms, 33 homeless and 9 foster. Our hope and our work this year is also to be building the capacity for principals in the early learning space and to help them understand why that classroom looks different, why it runs different, why it has a different ratio, and why we are staffing it with staff that has very particular qualifications around child development.
So given this, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on some of the work that we've been doing with leadership this year. In this particular space, I'm going to jump the leadership piece. I'm going to jump into the special implementations. This year has been a big year for the continuous improvement department, and the fact that we've been really focusing on trying to build back our ad program and be able to build in the process of building in student mentors. One of the pieces that was approved by the board recently was that agents of change, and that was allowed us to be able to put avid tutors into the classroom with serious support for our schools. The other pieces that we've really focused on is those elementary PE programs, which has allowed us to be able to build in PLCs for some of our schools twice a week, for our teachers to be able to get together and be able to work and be able to really be able to plan, collaborate, and do the work of analyzing the data that they're using to move their school forward. Another big hot piece of this was going to be our visual performing arts program, which is starting to ramp up. Some of the pieces of the facilities master plan that have been provided are building the facilities for us to be able to support a stronger, more rigorous VAPA program in our district, which we'll be known for. We have elementary music in our program, as well as many arts programs which go in general, trainings all the time. Another piece to this was our label school support, which was recently and continues to grow in our district right now, which is a mentor program that we've got with our kids right now, which is something that is truly supported many of our students from a perspective of mental health and being able to support students as they are experiencing issues at that particular moment in time. Another piece to this is that for us was the implementation of Youth Truth, which we continue to work through hard and make sure that that's working very well. And then the next slide will go into a little bit more detail on the work that we've been doing with our leaders. So with our leaders, we've been supporting them through a three-tier approach. I like to say that we're MTS-desizing our leadership approach in Lancaster School District. We have also new type of an approach in which what we're doing is providing for the meetings, the trainings, and the work through our SAIL and our lead systems throughout our district. All of our principals have access to that, and they're growing through that. The next level is the support that we're providing our principals through various contracting agencies, 3E Consulting being one of them, Bridges to Educational Excellence, as well as school services to provide services for our principals and support for our principals in any given case. And then finally, we focus significantly on the work that we're doing with individualized coaching through those individuals through instructional rounds and other aspects of the leadership journey for our principals and our administrators.
Students with disabilities. So just to give you a quick background, in 2015, there was a task force that looked at the outcomes of students with disabilities, and it was dim, high poverty, students with disabilities, high dropout rates, students who really could not read as they moved out of high school, low paying jobs, prison. So what they found was that we in students with disabilities need to be part of the accountability system. We were two separate systems for a very, very long time. So the state, the task force recommended that students with disabilities part of the accountability system. So then we became part of CalPETS. For the last couple of years, we were no longer a separate group. So I became part of my friends over here in differentiated assistance, LCAP, and all those great things. Part of the push was having students in least restrictive environments, having students access to their non-disabled peers and access to core. And we did this by, we measured this by looking at students' IEPs when they are in general education 80% or more of the day. That is a metric that we use and the state uses. And they give us a target to meet. So unfortunately, the state is a year behind. So this is 23-24 data, and you will see that we have not met our target in 23-24. So this is census day data. But we also want to know, we want to progress monitor, because between 23-24 and now, we've added a lot of things. We've done learning centers in many of our schools. Dr. Fountain talked about inclusion in TK. Our general ed partners, especially our teachers and our special ed teachers, have worked together to really look at push-in models for resource support. The beauty of IEPs, and you all know I'm passionate about IEPs, it's individualized, it's what students need. So inclusion does not mean one size fits all, it's differentiated. So looking at each student individually. So we did some progress monitoring, and the beauty of it is we get our CalPETS data. So I uploaded data from CalPETS on March 11, and we put it into a system, and we see that we passed the target. So we are on target to meet the metric that the state has provided us. So when it takes the census data again for next year, it looks like we are on target to meet that CDE requirement. We passed that. So I think what we are putting in place, and we will continue to grow this. And I really feel that our students with disabilities will benefit the time they spend in general ed.
Miss me? All right. I'm stepping in for Mr. Hoffman to talk about our MTSS para programs. So several years ago, it's been about 5 or 6 years now, we implemented the MTSS para program to support our K-2 teachers with instruction. With the idea behind this being that if we hit them when they're early in the early grades with prevention practices and prevention strategies and academics and behavior, we will see a decrease in the need for intervention as they go up through the grades. So just a little bit of data about where we're at with that program right now. We have 138 paraeducators, which is about 85% of our K-2 staff are currently working with this support in their classroom on these SEL and behaviors or in academic. So what are the paras supporting the academics, which is really a strong piece of K-2 instruction right now is small group instruction. So they're a huge help with the small group instruction, helping that happen, taking different groups and teaching with them. They are also a very strong support with our foundational literacy program, which I spoke about earlier. They are also part of the social emotional support out on the playground during lunch and recess, kind of supporting the behaviors. And they also supported the SEL arena with PBIS and preventative. So what does the data look like? We're going to take a quick focus on their DIBELS data, which is, like I said, we talked about DIBELS a little bit, and our strong push on foundational literacy. And so a little bit of data here. First of all, DIBELS is our assessment, very similar to iReady in that it's given 3 times a year to students in grades kinder through 2nd grade, and it measures foundational reading skills. This is our 3rd year implementing this assessment program. We didn't have any data that spoke to foundational literacy skills like this does, so we're very glad that this is in place. So regarding the DIBELS data, here's just some fun takeaways. 6 of our school sites have surpassed where they were at the end of last year in that grade level. So let's say 2nd grade scored 38% proficient at the end of their 2nd grade year last year. At the mid-year administration of DIBELS this year, they have already surpassed that 2nd grade score from last year. And that has to do with the instruction. So we have 6 of our school sites that have met that. So we're looking really good for the sites. And what that is an indication of is that we have very strong foundational literacy instruction in place. So 5 of our school sites using DigiCoach data are shown to have very strong implementation of SIPs, which is the curriculum to teach those foundational literacy skills. 12 of our school sites are within 10% of meeting or exceeding that year data from last year in their grade level. So very, very close to meeting the bar from last year and exceeding that. And 12 grade level teams have shown growth from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year. So we're seeing some positive trends in our early literacy foundational data. I'm very excited about that. And we like to attribute a large chunk of that success to our TSS program.
Hello, my name is Arturo Chavez. I am the coordinator of community schools. I'm filling in for our executive director, Sam Newham. Right now recovering from a marathon he ran, so we want to congratulate him for that. So I want to present on, thank you. I want to present on student family services and some of the pieces that we're doing to support the academic growth of our families. So one of the things that we're doing is we're partnering with Family Leadership Incorporated. They're really supporting us in bringing in a couple of series of classes where it's a train the trainer model, where they're training our family ambassadors, our staff, or community liaisons, but at the same time, our families. So our families are encouraged to come to these training sessions. When they go back to their school sites, they're expected to co-facilitate some of these sessions with our family ambassadors, community school liaisons. So again, as they're going through the process of learning the curriculum, the material, they're really owning it, right? And they're really able to go back and teach the families themselves. So that's one of the things that we're doing. Some of the series is Parenting Partners, Family Meals Challenge, Common Kind. Every family ambassador and community school liaison at the sites are trained in these programs. We're regularly looking to expand the programs that we're providing to our families. So for example, just last semester, we worked with the AIM department to pilot a curriculum and a program called Poder. So this is a literacy program for our 0 to 7-year-old students for the families. Spanish-speaking families only. Oftentimes the families are coming to us, they're Spanish-speaking only and saying, I don't know how to support my child in reading or academics or in their homework because I don't know how to read or speak English. So this curriculum, Poder, is really teaching them some of the foundational skills that they can do in Spanish to really build literacy capacity. So not just staying with parent engagement. We're definitely wanting to build their academic skills also. Another thing that we're very proud of doing is working with the Department of Public Health. There is a Parent Ambassador Leaders Program where the Department of Public Health is actually taking 5 parents per site, and they're actually teaching them and involving them in some courses on public health. What they're required to do is they go back into the community, go back into the schools, and teach what they're learning. So just today, Kelly and her program had an enrollment opportunity, so kindergarten enrollment. And we had several of our Pell parents pass out information on public health issues, vaccinations, on asthma, so on all of those different concepts. At the end of the program, they receive a $500 gift card. So they're learning a lot of these health resources, but they're also getting paid for it at the end of the day. So we really love that opportunity. Hope that they continue getting funding for that because it costs us nothing. It's being funded through them. And one of the things that we're doing is moving really from engaging our families to really collaborative leadership, where they're part of our school site councils, our AAACs. So they're involved and they have a louder voice, right? They're not just sitting in the crowd, they're actually part of the decision making. That's a lot of what we're doing in our department.
So wrapping up goal 1, jumping into goal 2, this is the goal that talks about equitable learning practices and positive learning environments. And in this particular space, we're focusing mainly on our attendance, and we're focusing on chronic absenteeism where we sit in those particular spaces. In this, I want to highlight something here. Chronic absenteeism overall throughout the state has been a significant number for everybody. Everybody struggles with chronic absenteeism with students, getting students to come to school and having them in school on a consistent basis. You'll see in this particular space that our baseline year last year or prior year, we were at 41.9% when we first started this LCAP. We just recently in the 24-25 earlier, we were at 36.2%. So from 22-23 school year, that's the dashboard, that's the baseline, to year 1 results, we dropped to 36.2%. Currently, as of today, we're sitting at around 30% chronically absent. So we're making positive gains in that space. That's the kind of work, and that's at this point in the year. So we're in the process as the year gets longer, which we're going to, and students are showing more, we are going to see less chronic absenteeism in that space. And it's due to, at least my theory of action in this space would be under this youth truth measure. When I'm feeling upset, stressed, or having problems, there's an adult from school who I can talk to about it. That is a huge key that we've seen pop up in this district. And you'll see with our middle school students, that's popped up by over 25% in a position of students feeling as though that they have that. When they have that, we know that our students are they have more of a reason to be in school, and they've got a higher likelihood to do better in their classes that they're in. Just going to let you sit and see a little bit of these pieces as well. Again, the youth truth, one of the youth truth with our middle schools is adults from my school treat students with respect. Again, we got a lot of these numbers have gone north. We're starting to see that our students are having a more positive perception of school on the whole, which is truly a testament to the teachers and the site administrators that we have on campus. I think that needs to be said over and over and over again. So that being said, I'm going to bring up Ms. Cochran, and she's going to discuss some of the pieces with pupil safety and attendance.
Sorry, it takes a second to get moving. All right. So in terms of Department of Pupil Safety and Attendance, there's a wide range of activities that we participate in across the school district, specifically with mental health services. We're very proud in our school district to share. We've got mental health services at every single one of our school sites. So we've got school counselors at every single school site. When there's a counselor shortage, we pull a counselor from another school site to go and support that school site so that our students are never left without someone there that can support them, whether it's they lost their dog or there's something much more pressing going on in their lives. In addition to that, we have partnered with school-based mental health therapy. And so school-based mental health supports are delivered at all of our school sites. It's a referral process when something a little bit more supportive needs to be put in place for our students, where a counselor, they just need something more. Unfortunately, Amargosa Creek is the one school site that we still need school-based mental health support at due to a lack of space. So hopefully with a little bit shift in their numbers next year, we'll be able to get a space over there for that to get going as well. Social emotional learning is a huge piece of what we do in our school sites every single day throughout the school week. Our middle school teachers got together and revamped their entire plan and output of what they're doing on a daily basis with our students as well, including some academic pieces and counseling pieces in their advisory periods. Then additionally, we also have our alternative education sites where we have our Cubs program to really provide that smaller environment support for students who need something a little bit different to have some behavioral improvements so that they can focus on their academics and then get back into a larger size classroom. We're proud to have that program at Monte Vista and Sierra with kindergarten, first grade, and second grade and third grade program, and newly over at Discovery Elementary, the growth of a 3-4 program. And so really excited about that space there. And then of course, we've got our RISE Community Day School setting for grades 4 through 8 for students who need something a little bit different in a more structured environment due to their behavioral causes. The last piece is, I just want to throw out that for all our alternative education programs, the support of the administrators, the teachers on site, the teachers and programs, the school counselors, our mental health support as well, really helps to reshape some of our children who've had some missteps, to let them know that, you know, there is forgiveness and that we can learn from our mistakes and go forward and focus on our academics.
Good evening. As you know, I am Erie Robertson with the ELLP department, and the mission of the Expanded Learning Opportunities program is to provide a safe, supportive, and inclusive, engaging environment for our TK through 8th grade students before school, after school, and on non-school days. So with that, so far this year, on a daily basis, we support over 2,000 students at all of our 19 schools throughout the district. And we continue to work on securing, our partners continue to work on securing more staff so that we can always open up more seats as we maintain. We usually have a wait list at most of our schools. On our non-structured, our structured non-school days, those are our Saturdays and our intersessions. During those days, we always have a assembly that is a culturally relevant assembly that attaches to a time or a idea that has been requested. And right now, this year, we have been using schoolyard rap for all of our Saturday schools and intersessions. So in our disguised learning, that is where we support the students in learning, but they don't know it. So right now we have a collaboration with Discovery Ed. And so the students in about 10 of our schools have access to Discovery Ed, which is an online platform. We've partnered with our partners and trained them on Discovery Ed and Soundtrap, so they are able to deliver lessons that are academically based, but they are social studies and science. And then along with our partners, they're talking about the professional development to make sure that we are continuing to offer excellent programming. We also, we as the ELOP department also offer training for our partners in the summertime during the school year, just to make sure that we have them working with our students and maintaining their goals over the time. And then of course we have our structured afternoon activities, which are part of our after school day, but then also clubs and teams that we support throughout the district at many, many of our schools. Pass it on.
So for our goal to equitable practices and positive environments, but student family services, the supporting is enhancing educator and staff capacity. We've been focusing a lot on the framework that's here for our district, and we're definitely trying to implement the full frameworks of full capacity. We're doing a lot of training, focusing on that, right? Really understanding the 4 pillars of community school, which is integrated student supports, family community engagement, extended learning opportunities, and that collaborative leadership that I spoke on building capacity for our families. So we're really focusing on our family ambassadors, community school liaisons, where our community school liaisons are going back to their sites and are tasked to really implement that along with a leadership, collaborative leadership structure. So another thing that, again, when we're looking at our community and our needs, there's a lot of trauma in our community, Right, so we're going to be doing a lot of trainings on trauma and resiliency for our families, but also for our staff. We just recently did a trauma and resiliency and trauma interviewing training. We had about 80 participants, and the majority are classified staff. So what I mean by that is that oftentimes our classified staff oftentimes don't have the opportunity to get advantage of some of these trainings. They're able to do a full-day training on trauma and resilience and a half-day training on learning, because those trainings directly impact the work that they do with our students, with our families, with our community, because they're coming to our schools, our families, and our students traumatized, right? So we definitely need to be able to support them and provide a safe and welcoming environment. So we feel that enhancing their capacity on these topics are going to be very helpful. We're also aligning across our district on PBIS, really supporting positive behavior interventions and supports, because again, students are coming dysregulated, they're coming with trauma, so we definitely want to provide safe, positive environments for them. So we're working again to bring in a lot of trainings around positive behavior interventions. And second, really fast. Parent engagement. So again, we're providing our staff training on parent engagement itself, because oftentimes we just expect our staff just to know how to engage with their families, but oftentimes they're doing that. They don't know how to do that, right? Our teachers are lacking some of those skills, and we're also enhancing the skills of our administrators so that that information can be shared in a collaborative structure. And we have attendance strategy. So we're building the capacity of our staff to understand what are some of these strategies that they can implement within their schools to support the overall goal of the district. So those are some good things that we're doing.
And the last goal that we're going to be talking about tonight is going to be our goal having to do with our safe and supportive schools. And in this particular space, I want to jump right into the idea again. Talk about chronic absenteeism a little bit. We've also seen that attendance rates are starting to increase. They're starting to increase. Another overall level, 4% health cap, and then obviously we want to move into the 96%, 67% space in terms of the work that we're doing there. And that's an ongoing goal. However, I do want you to take a couple of, like one piece with our elementary schools, my child's learning environment is safe. That's something that I think could have been said last year, but it wasn't seen to the degree that we're seeing it now with the implementations of pieces having to do with the label and some of the practices that we put in and put it into the schools. There's been a significant amount of there's been a significant amount of increase in terms of the things that we're taking from our families. So in this particular space as well, also wanted to point out the fact that we are looking at a relatively movement in terms of the idea of people feeling empowered to be able to play a role in their in the systems that they are a part of. So our families, just like Mr. Chavez, Dr. Chavez was talking about earlier, multi-council people are making more of an effort to be in a position where they actually have some governance structure to play that role of leadership.
Thank you. So that brings me to our part of goal 3. One of the big things I'd like to give a shout out to our school site attendance teams. They are doing some powerful work at the school sites, working together, banding together to call families, to meet with families, to do home visits, to really keep the focus on getting our students in school. Our student services department is doing a great job partnering with the health services department so that when there's a health issue, our LDNs, our RNs, our health clerks all work together to support families and encourage them to bring your child on in. Let's take a look at them and see if they're healthy enough to keep them at school. If not, of course, they partner with not only Hazel Heart, but Hazel Health to also make that online connection with a health provider to further investigate what's going on with your child and let's see what we can do to get them on the mend, feeling better again back at school. Our new program with Power School Attendance Suite Intervention is sending out monthly postcards to our families, which they're bright, they're beautiful, they're colorful, and it just is a great opportunity digitally for a family to see that postcard through a text message or an email highlighting the success of their student with their attendance, and also if they're slipping a bit, drawing attention to that as well because it looks like a thermometer. So green and blue, of course, are great, and the further we get into the red zone, we need to work on attendance and really get improving. In addition to that, we also have digital communications in terms of excessive excused absences and truancy notifications as well. Then into school safety. As you know, for years, we've been a closed campus district. And what does that mean? It means that all exterior entrances to school sites are closed and locked throughout the school day. We continue to revisit training and accountability with not only site staff, but specifically safety teams. That's our campus supervisors, our supervision aides, where they regularly patrol around campus internally to verify that if someone went out to their vehicle, that gate is locked and secured the entire time. In addition to that, as you can see from this particular slide, we have a variety of implementations that we've put in place. Most recently, of course, we have our Centegix crisis alert system, which with seconds count, it makes a big difference in terms of getting support to the classroom, to different areas of campus, and if needed to initiate an immediate lockdown across the campus as well, where we're not waiting for someone to get to the phone to address the staff over a PA system. In addition to that, of course, we've got our Raptor visitor management system that immediately scans an ID of a person to ensure it's their safety, that they're able to actually be on campus and around our children, supporting and visiting. In addition to that, we've also got a revolving weapons detection system that has been deployed at all 4 of our comprehensive middle school campuses. We continue to revisit training, support, and sustaining that training throughout the school year. It can never be just a one and done. We need to continue to support our staff and also providing some accountability along the way to ensure that those measures are in place and consistent 100%.
Alrighty, so under goal 3, safe and supportive environment, student family services supports, and part of our department is health services. So these are some of the updates that we want to provide today on the great impact that a lot of these services are kind of bringing to our school. So kinder oral assessments with Jerry Smiles, we had over 1,200 assessments. Vision to Learn, we recently get 813 pairs of glasses to students. So again, I think this is significant because now our students are able to see, right? Oftentimes, these students might be the students who are exhibiting behavioral challenges, maybe eloping, because again, they're not engaging in the curriculum because they cannot see the board, right? So having 813 students see is very significant, and we're planning to continue increasing that. And one of the things Brian Hook is here is our coordinator of health services. I want to give a shout out to him because he's coordinating all of these efforts across the district. It is a lot of coordination, and it's often very difficult to coordinate across the district with outside agencies. He's done a great job of doing that. So Hazel Health, we've had over 1,300 visits, and that has resulted in over 3,600 instructional hours saved. So our students are not going home anymore. So when a student is saying, stomach hurts, my head hurts, they're not just calling families and being sent home. So we're doing Hazel Health visits, telehealth visits, and that's often resulting in the students staying in the school, right, and not being sent home. Big Smiles, we've been able to service over 400 students. We also partner with Salva and Welcome to Wellness and Rose. We're doing that for food distribution on every two weeks. We provide on average around service on average 300 families. So again, this is very significant because of our demographics, our population. Families are in need. So Salva and Welcome to Wellness are doing a great job of bringing in those needed meals to our families, right? And vaccinations, or the vaccine clinic has provided 296 vaccines since October. So again, all of these are very significant because they're directly impacting the health and providing a safe and supportive environment for our students and our families. With this slide, I just want to again showcase, I brought up family ambassadors and community school liaisons. Just wanted to showcase that we're integrating as a department into all other departments because that's why we're here. We student and family services, we support everybody. So just really quickly, our family ambassadors are there to build capacity of families through trainings and workshops and experiences, where our community school liaisons are there to support they're there to address the systemic needs through community partnerships. So they're really, again, like we talked about the previous slide, how a lot of these agencies are not partnering with us. That is the role of community school liaisons and my role and Brian's role in bringing those resources in. Just want to share a little bit about what that looks like. So I'm not going to belabor this particular point, but I do want to make sure that everybody's understanding that there's a significant amount, there's a lot of work going on
in our district in terms of all of the pieces having to do with students, family services, and when you take it down to the educational services department in terms of people safety and attendance, and all the way throughout the system, there is a lot of partnerships that we have, a lot of friends that we have in this community, and a lot of people that we serve. And so doing the reason that we come to these places is to be able to really show and be able to support and show our community how much we care about our students, not just in their learning, but in the whole system, All for us, it's about the whole child. Pieces that we're looking to develop on from the forward speak towards high dosage tutoring, more of the work with the label and our mentoring programs, because we recognize that academics, although this is the reason and the purpose for us being in the business, it is also, we can't teach kids unless kids are served at that base level. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, giving them what they need. With that being said, I would like to thank the board for giving us the time tonight to be able to expand on the program that we do have. There's a lot. We know that there's a lot. We've approved a lot. We've worked together a lot, and we've partnered to be able to create a system that I feel that we can all be proud of. So thank you very much for any questions the team is here to take.
Yeah, just like that, there's a lot of really positive growth in a lot of different areas. That's really exciting to see. And we're not just focused on one measurement. I also like to see that in the area of safety, we have full lockdown at schools where all the outside doors are locked. And one of my questions is, are the teachers' doors locked at all times throughout the day also? So I know that is something we're not doing it. I'd like to move towards that. They have those little door stoppers that make it convenient for teachers if they need for students to go out just for a minute. I know this is kind of off tangent, but kind of on the same topic too, but just thought of it.
It's absolutely on topic, and I appreciate the question. That is the expectation throughout the entire school district, is that all exterior doors, universal hallways, are not only closed, but locked at all times. Anytime my team and I, or even my teammates behind me, that they're visiting school sites, if they find a door that's propped open, they immediately remove that trash corner, they remove that block. That's creating an unsafe environment. We know very well what occurred in Texas is because the door was propped open, as well as other sites across the country. And so we're doing everything we can to mitigate any potential risk that we possibly can, and that's one of them. What was the second?
Well, we don't have a really need for door stoppers because all of our doors are locked.
That is correct.
And I would say it also extends to our district office here at Parkview and also at Cedar. All our doors are locked. That's just the way it, and every single entrance that is open for the public has a secondary door that's locked. So that's been an emphasis we put on. Did a great job with maintenance and operations to get that taken care of over the last year, several years.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's for you, Kim, but I've noticed some of the schools are starting book clubs. Is that part of the group? Book clubs at the schools?
Yes, that's one of the things that, again, in partnership with the schools and across departments, we definitely do that. Joshua started a book club recently with students, and I want to say they have over 60 or 70 students participating actively in that book club, which is amazing to see, right? We're having the students be interested in reading and taking that time to engage in that versus other things.
And so Dr. Jamika at Monte Vista is also spearheading our Battle of the Books. And so that is an automatic ELP club that will be sponsored, and the students get to keep their books. They read their book. It's kind of like the Black Knowledge Bowl, and they are the Hispanic History Knowledge Bowl, and they get their information, and then they have a contest. So that should be coming through at the end of the school year, toward the end of the school year, as they are getting their groups together, their teams together, and then they'll start competing on a smaller level to the district level. And outside of the district as well.
Well, I heard about it from one of the schools, and the students are getting their Lexile levels And it's impressing them that they're reading at a level higher than their class. So I wanted to say, it sounds like a good start to get these children and possibly their parents involved.
We're really looking forward to the competition, and I believe that every child should have a book, any book. Get a book. You got a book for Christmas, you got a book for your birthday, you got a book for the end of the school year, you got a book for the beginning of the school year. You got a book and it's in my classroom.
I get my kids as presents to adults and they hate it, but that's what I do. If anybody wants to start a book club, let me know because I want to start one. But yes, so thanks for that question, but that's actually happening in our schools a lot. And we do want to start something with families too, with our parents, so that they can engage in the academic piece. I know working with our director of AIM, with Cindy, we're also looking to be ESL classes, right, where our families are learning how to read and write in English, but we also want to read and write in Spanish, so that they can continue that the dual language, right? So we definitely want them to engage in the academic pieces of reading and writing with the students. So that's very exciting, and those are things that we're looking forward towards the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your comments. Move on to individual action items. Business adoption of resolution 2024-2025. 2, resolution approving the associate membership agreement joining the Education Technology Joint Powers Authority. Motion? Second by Mr. Second by Mr. Woodsmith. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Approval of attendance zone changes for Armagosa Creek, Endeavor, New Vista, and Highview. Motion? Motion by Mr. Wing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Giles. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Individual action items, human resources, approval of coordinator of special education.
Rachel Holmes.
By Mr. Keith. Second by Ms. Schuessler.
Excuse me, my voice has been a little squeaky the past week. I'll try to get through this. Rachel is presently our lead speech language pathologist working in special education. She spent 17 years as a speech language pathologist, with 15 of those years in Lancaster School District. She graduated from the University of Arizona and earned that speech language pathologist of the year in 2011, 2016, and 2020. Additionally, she was named special education support staff of the year in 2013. She also received the inaugural Force for Good Award from the University of St. Augustine in 2021. Rachel is most proud of the innovative speech intervention program developed to provide language-based support via MTSS and address the needs of our youngest learners. She loves spending days with her family at the beach, working in her greenhouse, watching her daughter compete in horseback riding, and supporting her son's Boy Scout USA journey as he is currently working on his Eagle Scout project. She's with us in the audience tonight with her family.
All in favor? Aye.
Official.
Welcome. Director of Facilities and Construction.
Rob Moody.
Motion by Mr. Giles, second by Mr. T.
All right, Rob is currently the Director of Operations for the Lancaster School District. He began working in education with the Lancaster School District 32 years ago, starting as a custodian 1 in June of 1993. Rob promoted to custodian 2, then lead custodian, then maintenance 1, then maintenance 3, then maintenance 4, then supervisor of operations, and he's finally earned this last promotion this evening, director of operations. With over 21 years as lead supervisor and/or director, Rob takes great pride in the growth of the facilities department. He says, alongside my colleague Dean, we have helped shape the department into the efficient, skilled team it is today. Through deliberate planning and hands-on leadership, we've expanded the maintenance grounds, security, and custodial staffing, introduced a night maintenance team, weekend crews, and enhanced the overall operations, competence, and ability of the facilities staff. Whew, that's a run-on. I'm proud of the strong, versatile team Dean and I have built and the lasting impact our improvements have made on the facilities department. And when he's not running facilities, Rob enjoys his family, camping, and the beach. And he's here with us tonight.
All right, well, welcome, Rob. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Your continued service. Approval of Director of Classified Personnel.
Michelle Poulos.
Second by Mr. Nguyen.
And this one's coming to my department. Rochelle has been in education for 28 years and was the principal at Amargosa Creek for a decade. Before that, she was the AP at Paiute with me and taught at Amargosa Creek for 12 years, teaching 6th grade and 8th grade algebra. Her biggest educational accomplishments were earning her first master's degree in curriculum and instruction and a second one in administration. She is most proud of raising 2 amazing kids. The first one attended Cal State Monterey Bay, and the second one went to San Diego State. Both are now adulting. When she is not running Amargosa Creek, she likes to run, hike, stay active, and be outside. She's with us in the audience.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. All right, addressing the board. Individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it, and any supporting documents to the superintendent's assistant and other district official prior to the start of the meeting. Personal information such as a student, parent, guardian's name, address, phone number, date of birth, email address, and other directory information is defined in the Education Code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to the superintendent. President shall recognize individuals who wish to speak. Individuals wishing testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. Time limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed. Bylaws 9(3)(2). Members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no decision may take place on an item not on the posted agenda. Brown Act. Comments from PTA? CSEA? Al? Welcome, Gina.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a long week already. It's Tuesday. It's been a long night. I want to just talk for a couple minutes about the impact that this year has had on teachers and my members, my SLPs, my counselors, and everyone within TAL membership. You know, we've all worked harder than we've ever worked. Teaching has changed. Everything has gotten exponentially more difficult since COVID and just, just in general. But I want to talk for a minute about communication and how we can all work, I think, to improve communication so that it doesn't make our jobs more difficult. I want to acknowledge some of the teachers that are here tonight for Discovery Elementary School. Not as much as they have, but we've had some difficulty this last several days. I think that we could address those issues by communicating and communicating our plans and maybe vetting those plans better and think about the impact that those changes could have on the staff. I know that they've had a difficult time over this last several days, wondering and feeling like maybe the district didn't appreciate and value them as much as I know that we clearly do. So I'll leave you with that. Dr. Marietti, I know that you're going to be paying a visit Thursday, and I really appreciate you going out to hear their concerns.
Yeah, and I do want to thank the Discovery staff for being here, and I want to thank the Discovery staff for holding me accountable. I'm far from perfect, and I make decisions in the best interest of children, but sometimes not always correct. Decision that we were making was not in the best interest of Discovery School. Apologize, and I'm glad that the issue has been resolved, and I seek to do better in the future.
Appreciate that. I hope you all have a really nice evening.
Comments from the audience? Okay. So be the moment if you want to break free, probably should go right now. There's a fun part for everyone that's staying. Consent agenda items, superintendent items 16A through 16G. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles, second by Mrs. Euskler. All in favor? Aye. Any questions? Motion passes 5-0. Consent agenda items, business items 17A through 17N. Motion by Mr. Teague. Second by Mr. Nguyen. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Consent agenda items, educational services, items 18A through 18K.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Giles. Second by Ms. Euclid. All in favor? Aye. Any questions? Motion passes 5-0. Consent agenda item, human resource services, items 19A through 19B. Motion by Mr. Susan, second by Mr. TP. One abstain. All in favor? Aye. Mr. Giles. Motion passes 4, 1 abstain. 4-0. Consent agenda item, student and family services, 20A through 20F. Motion? Motion by Mr. Williams, second by Mr. Giles. All in favor? Aye. Any questions? Motion passes 5-0. Legislative policy decision, discussion. Comments from the board and superintendent. Start out with.
Okay, thank you guys for hanging in there. It's been fun. Thanks to Fulton, I guess, the principal, he was here, I guess, slept. Yep, but thank you for Fulton for the presentations. That was very informative and fun, and I think I learned a little bit more about Fulton. Thanks to CFW for his presentation. It's cool to see Sunnydale's underway, and hopefully we learned a few things, and we'll get some stuff fixed up and spend the money before it's worthless. Thanks, Ms. Cochran, for your work on all the zone exemption, or the zones, not the zone exemptions, zones. Dr. Goins, with your LCAP crew, thank you for your whole group. I mean, you guys all did a great job. I mean, so much information, but you guys really did do a good job. If we were brand new board members, we would be flushed with questions, but you guys answer them all. So thank you guys. And congratulations on our new promotees, Mrs. Holmes, Mr. Moody, and Ms. Poulos. You guys are all well deserving, and you guys will go out and have some ice cream or something cool tonight. And with that, I'll thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out and making it fun for us too.
Mr. Nguyen.
Ditto to what he said. Did a great job. CFW presentation. I have to also hand it to Dr. Freeze and Dr. Marietti taking it to San Francisco and getting us higher bond rating. In light of everything that's going on in the state and even in the federal government, we improved our standing. Fantastic. Thank Dr. Freeze also for his diligence at the Antelope Valley School Transportation. Yeah, he's no longer the president, but I think they still treat him like president. They asked him all of the questions. Thank you for making adding another task to my job. Proving that's good greatly. It's okay, I enjoy it. But all district is looking very good. We have a lot to be thankful for things like Jordans who can collaborate, have whole group collaborate, bring that presentation. It's great. Like he said, we were all new board members. Learned a lot about this. For getting that book club started, it's doctor really good. Pass it on.
Okay, yeah, a lot to talk about. First off, Fulton and Alsbury, I agree. I learned a lot about all the different programs that the kids are involved with there. I thought it was neat that they presented a lot of it themselves. And wow, there's just a whole lot going on at the school, and the kids are doing great. All the different awards they're winning in the Makers Fair, in the robotics, Science Olympiad. So great to see. Keep up the great work. Also CFW, thank you for helping us with the bonding, and all the administrators and staff that have helped with improving our school and bringing up our rating. That's fantastic. Like Mr. Wynn suggested, a lot in this environment. It's very difficult to do. So great work to everyone in those areas. Also, middle school attendance boundaries. I'm glad we're addressing that and helping to even out our middle schools. And great presentation for all the different things tonight, and especially the LCAP with everyone involved with that. And it was neat to see the perceptions of the parents and students is improving in a lot of different areas. So that's, things are improving when their perceptions are improving, because they're the ones there every day. They're experiencing it, they're seeing it. So proof is in the pudding, as you say. Also, school safety, glad to see that we're locking down our schools. We're working on that, hoping that entrances to our schools, also with the middle schools, with the detecting systems, and that we're continuing with the training in that. And also with the attendance, today's environment, 91% attendance and working to get up to 94%. That's really good as well. Great job to see the promotions of Holmes, Moody, and Bulos. I know they've really been working in our district a long time, so it's neat to see those people being promoted. And our kids were at Armagosa for probably most of those 20 years that this Bulos was there too. So great to see that. Thank you.
Schuster.
Everything has been said. However, I just want to, Fulton and Alsbury was wonderful hearing from the kids, and the fact that they are so proud and so involved in what's going on at the school. I think that was kind of the takeaway for me. The progress report on the bond is always good to hear. It's nice to see where the money's going, and that we do. Right. Good services team. Wow. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. You guys did a great job. Very thorough. Lots of information, and it's good that we haven't. A lot of information and really, really well presented. Other thing, Rob and Rachel, I've known you guys forever. So happy to see that you're moving up the district. I think that's great. You'll be in positions of leadership or different leadership. And
Hey, first off, if you had an opportunity to go out to be here at Parkview around 1 o'clock today, 12:30, we had a indoor carnival that was amazing. Over 1,000, I believe over 1,000 people attended. We had a train, and we had barnyard animals, we had a foam party, food, and and all the schools were represented with their kindergarten team and registering kids, so that was a wonderful experience. And I do want to acknowledge the LCAP presentation and the collaboration between all of our departments and the hard work that all of our departments do together, collaboratively, working in the best interest to serve the whole child. I look forward to spring break next week. Thank you.
I will also echo Fulton and Alsbury's presentation. So Mr. Palacios and his students, pretty hard for people to get up and speak in front of the audience. So the kids did an absolute phenomenal job getting up and expressing their excitement for everything that they were involved in and letting us know where they've been, where they're going. So I haven't had an opportunity to go and look at their robotics personally, but that's something that I'm most definitely interested in doing in the future. Mr. Flores, again, made a stellar report in letting us know about our money and our bonds and the way that the money is going to work for us in the schools. And so I look forward to seeing an updated report in April to give us the progress on that. Ms. Cochran, as usual, you do a wonderful job at protecting our schools, our students, staff. Continue doing that. I do look forward to seeing what the outcomes are going to be on the changing of those borders. As far as the schools, I do think that based on your explanation that it's going to take a lot of pressure off our schools, and it's going to redirect a lot of students to places that they can be easier to get to. And I think it's more important to make sure our students are arriving at school on time so they can get all the education that our teachers have to do. So thank you very much. Dr. Goins, always appreciate your presentation. I really enjoyed being able to get each person that's in charge of their departments to express what's going on in their departments. It really helps me put a face to what everyone's doing and the responsibilities that they have. And I am enjoying the feedback and seeing the numbers increase. I know we still have a lot of work to do. Based on what I heard tonight, we're moving in a really positive direction. So I can't actually wait until 2026 to see our numbers reach those goals. Thank you very much. Congratulations to the promotions of Rochelle, Rob, and Rachel. I am very impressed with the fact that we can retain the employees that we have where they're putting in decades and decades of commitment. So I'm glad that apparently we're doing something right to keep them. And promotion's great. Gina, thank you for expressing the concern. We are human, you know, our directors do the things that they think that they should do at the time. It doesn't mean that we're not going to make mistakes or missteps or misjudgment. But we do have the ability, and they do have the ability to stand up and say, hey, I think I got it wrong this time. So, you know, not that we don't want to continue to do that in the future, you know, as far as progressing our schools, but we want to make sure that we do not make any of our employees feel like they're not. Because by all means, without our teachers and our support staff, we cannot exist and be the district that we are and continue to grow. So we're going to continue to work the best that we can and make sure that we're doing the best for everyone involved, students and our teachers. So thank you for expressing that. And as far as all of our programs, I had an opportunity to go to Joshua. They had a women's health and wellness fair that was really nice. There's a lot of things going on because it is Women's History Month. So look to every woman and tell them thank you because we're powerful. El Dorado is going to be doing a dance recital on Friday at Antelope Valley College. So if you have an opportunity, it's supposed to be at, I believe they're performing Arts Center there, 7:30 if I'm not mistaken. It's an opportunity to get out, see our dance teams. They always perform at our Parkview events. So get out there and see them and support them. Other than that, another successful meeting in the book. And 8:14. It's been an early evening. Okay, so we'll be able to adjourn at 8:14 as long as I can get a motion. Oh, wow. Did I click that one? Motion under through TP, second by Ms. Yusuf. All in favor? Aye. I know there's no question. Motion passes 5-0. Have a wonderful evening. See you soon.